Peace and love and light. Hmm. I tell myself that I'm not going to make any excuses to not deliver these messages. So, those that will see, I wish you peace, love, clarity, prosperity, awareness, harmony, and happy new moon in Libra. Yes. So, uh, the music that's playing in the back. I don't know if I'm supposed to say this, but I feel like I do not own the rights. But that being said, anywho, this topic that I would love to speak about, and I would love to say that it's important for everyone in all connections and relationships. And so, that being said, this topic is love languages. And oh yeah, that's Miles Davis, by the way. Did I say that? I feel like I did. Miles Davis, amazing, amazing. Love Miles Davis. Um, okay, love languages. So I just want, or Spirit wants me to say that in all the connections that we are in, that we attract, in some way, shape, or form, it is mirroring back to us our love language, not only with ourselves, but with others. So you're not only seeing a mirror of your love language, but what is your love language, not only with yourself, but with others? With other people, meaning like, what were you learning or were you embraced growing up? Or did you grow up in a home where there was affectionate displayed, or was it a lot of verbal abuse, a lot of traumatic experience? And the reason I love to speak on these traumatic experiences because I speak from my experience. Then I also know that there are others who are afraid and assume that there aren't others that actually are going through or have been through what they've experienced. So I'm here to say yes, there are others, and such as myself. But that experience, as I know now, having the wisdom now, is seeing that through my relationships, through life, I myself had this perception on what love was. And through the relationships that I attracted, it all stemmed from or was rooted in abandonment issues. And when I say abandonment issues, I mean issues of not feeling accepted fully, or feeling like my mom or father or someone should have loved me more. And that led me to a feeling of like always, well, at the moment, because nothing is always, of being left out in the cold, or that fear of abandonment. Someone should have always been there, or it's like a child, like being left out in the cold and having to fend for itself. And so that right there, I developed that sense of feeling that was a love language. And it shaped my reality on what love should be, or relationship should be, and how it should be displayed throughout my life. So the love languages, we need to ask ourselves, okay, if I didn't grow up in a home that was of love and genuine love, then what in myself do I need to change? What am I willing to accept? And what have I ignored within myself, like the red flags, or the deep dark secrets of myself, or even denying what has happened with my relationship with my parents. So these are things that I feel we as human beings have to uh, address. We have to address the elephant in the room. And we're seeing this displayed in a lot of our relationships now, where we're quick to point the finger. We're quick. And look, I love this. There's a saying, when you point the finger, it's three pointing at you. Look at this. When you point the finger, three are literally pointing back at you. Blew my mind. I know, but anywho. um, so I love to express these things because it's where I'm at now. If I would have known it a little earlier or sooner, I just feel like everything happened in divine timing. So that being said, this love language is so vital because when we learn to love ourselves and nurture ourselves, then we begin to mirror or being able to open a space or hold a space for others to love them and have more compassion for ourselves. Man, it's very challenging when you grow up in homes that were around a lot of physical and verbal abuse. I use an example for myself, and there's a lot of, man, let me breathe. It's like some moments I can feel the pain that a lot of our brothers and sisters go through. And a lot of people don't know, like in a lot of homes, predominantly uh, melanated dark or African, however you want to say. I don't care for the titles, but a lot of people don't know what that survival mode, and that's a love language for a lot of us. It's like survival mode. Like some people, I know what it is not to, in my childhood, and there's no one at fault. I know what it is to not have a meal. I know what it is to experience that. I know what it is to for my mother to, you know, uh, go out in the streets and not return home. So, at all of this I'm experiencing is showing me a love language. And so when we experiencing this is a love language. And when I mean like it's nonverbal. Whether they're speaking to you verbally, it's nonverbal at the same time. You're like, man, so everything you're seeing, you're absorbing. And so I just want to challenge people like to realize that if you had relationships or you are in relationships or connection with people, sit down with them and actually see, what is it that is triggering them? What is it that bothers them? And what I mean, I'll use myself for example. In relationships, what will happen is that when I would see what I experienced in previous relationships, what I would see my mother or I had cousins or a lot of people that will be in a lot of abusive relationships, whether it be verbally or physically. So I'm seeing these things like, oh man, this is the norm. This is how to a kid, you're like, oh, this is normal. This is so cool, man. I cannot wait to do this when I get older. And you might think I'm crazy, but no. Some people know that they know. Just like people growing up around drug dealers or whatever it is. You're seeing these things and psychologically you become accustomed to it. You are absorbing it.